How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Eden with us, which is a serial entrepreneur and the author of Activate Your GM. So, Eden, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Thanks, Harry. So 5 steps to make your first million. The first and most important is really to be clear on your goal and your mission, like your mindset, to have your mindset clear. I'm a true, real believer that we are creating what we intend. So if you're not reaching your first million, you really need to take a step back and look at your internal vision. And are you clear on that? And do you really know that you have that intention? So that's the first, because a business can only grow as far as its owner's mindset can contain it. And I've worked with many, many business owners over the years, and I can only help them get their business to what they can imagine is possible. So a mentor of mine said, pour a glass of wine, sit by the fire, vision the future that you're after, and then the plan will come together. So that's number one. Number two is to know that you can't do it yourself. I mean, some people can, but generally to really move into true wealth, we want other people to be engaged in the day-to-day of the work so that we can be in the strategic and the highest value engagement with our clients, our customers, and our business. So own the idea that you can't do it yourself. So that means you're going to get to have an opportunity to build a team and to learn how to work with that team successfully. Which brings me to my point number 3. Remember, we manage things, we lead people. So many business owners that I work with are trying to manage people and just chunk things down into directions and tasks rather than inspiring them to bring their highest level of contribution to the table. And that's a natural outcome of the stress of being a business owner. We move into management and control because there's so much stress, because there's so much going on. We bring people in, and then we're just trying to direct their every action. And people, are not going to bring their best to the table when they're on our team if we're managing them. So I want to encourage people to point number 3, remember to lead, that you need to lead people. I've said for years, you cannot regulate people into right action. You can only inspire them to right action. So that's the focus. And then key point number 4 is you can't have people on your team doing what you want them to do without having a good feedback loop, for having good systems in place to understand what's going on with your business, to read that dashboard, to what I want to have in my dashboard for my business is leading indicators that things might be going awry, or confirmation that things are going well. And so I really need to have a good system of getting feedback from my team and from the business operations in order to measure my success, keep track of my dollars, and make sure that we're getting the success that we're focused on. And then number 5 is to build in a growth mindset with the team. If everybody's only doing the minimum and they're not attached to that bigger picture vision, you're not going to be able to get to that first million with ease. But when everybody on the team is inspired and pursuing that same vision with you, then all the energy is coming together towards that particular goal. Creativity comes in. Having a strong system for growth and inviting everybody to participate in that is my 5th key to achieving your first million.
Touch, move, and inspire your employees. I love this. It is really powerful. But it will require for you to become a leader in order to achieve that, to touch, move, and inspire your employees. In our organization, um, sometimes I ask into my employees, I say, guys, why you don't find another job? You see, you've been working with us for so long. You can even make more money. I know that. And the answer that we have from our employees is, Harry, we like to work with you and we are happy with the money that we are getting. So it's okay. So I think that uh, tr- being a support for your employees, being a support for your team, touch, move, and inspire them, and I think give them capacity for growth and train them to learn new things. We always doing new things. You were asking me, Harry, how you doing with the podcast? Well, I came to my team. I said, "Oh, Lily, my girlfriend, she said that I had to do a podcast." And my team told me, "What? What is this?" I said, "Oh no." And they told me, "Harry, give us 3 weeks, and we will make it work. Don't worry. We need to find out what is it more in depth because they all have a vague idea what was it." And but you won't believe, after 3 weeks, our team, our director came and told me, Harry, just press the record button and that's it. Don't
And
worry
there
about
you
it.
go. It's
And it
done.
goes to my social media, it goes to Spotify, it goes to Apple, everything goes. I don't even know how they're doing it, but it's a very complex engine behind the broadcast one is recorded. But they know me very well, when I tell them I'm doing this, I say, "Oh my God, to Harry, just make him press the button because if he had to move something, there's gonna be a problem." So,
So they know
uh,
you well.
oh, you're working with me for so many years, they know me exactly what what is gonna take. But also, you can see the proactivity of them, right? We never get in 17 years that I've been in business in my organization, you never hear this is not my job. Doesn't exist here in our organization because this is part of our core value. You see, we don't have so many employees, so employees have to multitask. This is something common. I multitask all the time, so I'm expecting this from my employees. So if you're an employee that like to learn and be a multitask, this place is perfect for you. If other employees that want to do a specific role and they want to say, okay, this is not my job, this is not my job, okay, they fall into this organization, it's not going to work because we multitask a lot. And but again, it's exactly like you said, Eden, touch, move, and inspire them. But how you, as an entrepreneur, because at the end of the day, for you to have a business, you have a product, you sell it, you make a profit, and that's it. You're in business. That have nothing to do with leadership. So when do you realize, Eden, that in order for you to drive success in your business, now it's not about selling your product and making a profit. Now it goes something even more complex. In order to attract leaders to your organization, you have to become a leader yourself. When do you discover this?
I think in the natural evolution of business, there's a moment. So a person goes into business in the beginning, and I think as an owner, we know at the beginning we're going to have to work really hard. We're going to have to work really hard. We're putting in those long days, those long hours, those long weeks, those long years, and growing it up around us. We attract those first few employees, those people who are inspired by us personally and individually. But and my observation, there comes a point somewhere, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years in, where we look around and go, okay, now I'm getting tired, and when is this going to change? There's like we start to run out of steam. I've hired
Tell me
people,
about it.
my life, my life's not getting better. And we get to that moment of something has to be different. And you mentioned that your team is inspired, they like you, they like to work with you. Some companies grow past the point where every person is working directly with the owner. And so moving into leadership has to be not only about recognizing that we want to reach people emotionally, that we do naturally by our own personality, but by being able to give people information about who we are in our heart that they can rely on and use for decision making. So when I talk about leading people, a big piece of that are those core components of a company culture, which are having a clearly articulated mission, an inspiring and communicated vision, and then values that frame our agreements about how we're going to work together and what's important to us as a company. Because those pieces come from the owner. And then, what I like to tell clients is, hey, if you have an employee and they make a decision and you don't agree with it, if they say to you, but boss, I thought about our mission and I looked at these two core values and I thought that this decision really matched those the best. And so that's why I decided this instead of that. Well, then it's a coaching moment, but you're going to be comfortable and confident that this person is thinking about your goals and who you are when they're making a decision. So I think it's important that we translate our personal leadership style into these clearly communicated frameworks for the team so that like my goal with my employees is that they will make the same decision that I would make even if I'm not in the room. Because if I'm going to be in the Galapagos for a month, they need to have good information about how to make decisions. So
Mhm.
those that the core values, mission, and vision are the key to shifting into leadership when we hit that point where we realize we have to.
Yeah, how to remove yourself from the equation. And I think that for me was kind of by accident because exactly I was there exactly like you. I'm this entrepreneur at the beginning that I don't trust anybody. And so my first business was in property. We managed to sell over 5 million. And I started this business like I don't trust anybody. I'm doing everything. I'm wearing all the hats. I don't trust anybody to do my sales because how can I give the keys of the flat to somebody, to an employee? What if they steal a computer from my tenants? Or I don't want to give access to my landlord to anyone. And exactly like this, and I was running the business, was making good money, but I was exhausted. After 2 years, I'm burning out. I'm waking up with a laptop in my lap, and it was not sustainable anymore. So then I had to surrender that ego. I had to surrender this I don't trust anybody out of necessity because
Right.
I couldn't literally operate. And then I started to hire people, but something happened that was Michael, which is that everybody that I hired was better than me at everything. I was not expecting this. They were amazing. I'm like to they guess my manager from the same team. They start to rent the rooms, and I'm like guess how you do that? Takes me like 2 weeks. You do in a day, and even you just charge more money. You teach me how you do that. So. Uh, it happened that everyone in the organization started to come and they were all better than me at everything. I showed them how to find good properties and they were finding better properties than me. And how to rent the rooms, they were renting the rooms better than me. And I was telling to everybody, you won't believe my employees, they're amazing. They're better than me. To the point, yeah. However, in this process, I remember that I was in the office and they all coming to me and telling me, Harry, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? And at the same time, 177 tenants, they all want to speak with me. I'm
Wow.
like, these people are gonna kill me. I'm only one person. How everybody want to speak with me every day? For what? So then you have the clients, which are way too many, and they just don't care. They want to talk to you. They don't know that there is another 116 people that want to do the same thing. They just want to talk to you. At the end of the day, and then you have the employees, the team also that again, that better than me and everything. They're coming to me to ask me and say, ask me what you guys are all better. So I decided I put a sign behind my desk that said, okay, don't come to ask me a question if you don't have a solution. Come,
Exactly.
come with 2 or 3 solutions because otherwise you're gonna kill me between all you on the tenants. So then the employees start to come and they're asking, okay, Harry, I have this, and there are these 3 solutions. I propose, say, okay, great, pick your favorite. And so say, what I should pick? You already brought the solution. You choose. If it works, well. If it doesn't, it does. It's not because I'm gonna choose. It's gonna work better. You have actually better chance to pick the right solution than me. And then I start to do with this thing, the culture in the office. If you hear that some of them were joking, okay, Harry's useless, don't go asking anything because at the end of the day, you need to come with your own solution. Some of them they were joking and everything. But at the end of the day, I want to be part of the group. I want to be part that when they go out, I don't want that they tell, okay, let's go out without hurry. So I want to be in the group. I want to be together with them. I was one of them, you see. So that's why I released this control of, you decide, you do this, because I didn't want them that they see me like, oh, this is the boss that decide everything that everybody want to do. Because I'm thinking when they're gonna go out, they're gonna go out by themselves, and I want to be with them, right? So bottom line, the thing happens, and one day I arrived to the office and they told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you. I'm like, what? What do you mean? You don't need me. We can run this without you. You don't need to be here. Go home. I don't know. Travel the world. Do whatever you want. Don't come here because you're giving us conversation. You don't let us work.
You
My manager,
distracting.
yeah, my manager told me, in fact, the only problem in this business is you, she told me,
Oh
because
no.
you come and talk to us, you don't let us work, go home, whatever. So I think that kind of by accident, Eden, I turn myself into this, exactly as you said, into this leadership position that you empower the leadership within an organization, to the point that one day you become obsolete in your own organization. The whole thing it runs by itself. Which the first day that happened to me, I'm even asking them, you don't need paper in the photocopy, and they tell me no, we can get our own paper in the photocopy. So you know what I mean. So uh, it was a moment that it's like the change from the day and night, and this is what we want for all the entrepreneurs out there, that they need to know that this is possible. So
And I
what
think it's possible to do it not by accident, but by design. So that happened for you accidentally, your natural
literally
instinct,
accidentally.
those
I
things.
didn't know any better.
Well, and so there are things that we can do that help accelerate that, help that move faster by design. When we
How
design
amazing that would be, because I
what,
didn't
sorry.
even know that this. I did how amazing this will be. That by design, you can plan your business, that the things work like this, because this is not the majority of the business owners that we see out there. We find completely the other way, that they are struggling. They are attached to the business. That is worse than a job, because they have to work longer hours and they cannot see the family and the friends. So how this can be by design? What is the paradigm that we have to shift the entrepreneur in order to start to make this work? And if this it will work, because other entrepreneur will tell you, no, my business is different. Um, you can do this in your business, but in my business. So what message do you have for those entrepreneurs?
So a couple of things. That idea that my business is different. So you and I were chatting before the call, and I own four different businesses, from an accounting firm to a personal care services where caregivers go into people's homes. And my experience and observation is 85% of business is the same. There's so much of business that's consistent of what needs to be accomplished. And then there's a little bit that's different in the service that we provide. But I work with people in all ranges of business and find many things to be true at the core. So by design, the virtual GM system is a step-by-step process to implement this design. And it starts with, as we talked, that first leadership piece of communicating mission and vision and values. But then it's also hiring people who resonate with that, and hiring people who are, not just necessarily the right skills, but the right skills along with the same values, and that who really do resonate with the purpose of the business, and with the product that we're selling, and the customer experience that we're creating that's our reason for being. And then very specifically communicating not only your responsibility in your position, but what your authority is. Like, we can tell people up in advance, you have the authority to make decisions within this scope, within this budget, within this, like, delegating in a trusted way to people who have the skills to do the work. That sort of fast tracks that process that you had of everyone coming to ask you questions that they really already knew the answer to. But then the other side of that, I mentioned earlier, building in the feedback loop so that we as owners can, not, it's like delegation is not abandonment, right? We're not here to just throw things on people's plates and walk away. We want to be a resource for people in a way that's right sized. So in order to do that, we build in that dashboard of what are the key performance things, what are the things that when you sit in your office, you're paying attention to that let you know how your business is doing, whether it's how many times the phone is ringing, or certainly cash flow has something to do with it, or how many complaints we've received and what the nature of those are. Like being sure that you're checking in on all of those things so that you can provide mid-course corrections to the team is an important part of it. And then really, I mean, one of my most fun days, successful days, was when I had three different client companies, in the same week, had employees who told their boss that they were writing their own standard operating procedures for their position because they were going on vacation and they wanted to make sure other people did it right. Like we
Wow.
really,
Wow,
right?
that's
Isn't that
amazing.
Exactly. So that's where we want to get people where they own their job so much that they want to make sure that when they go on vacation, somebody's covering it well. And that's much different from the top-down strategy that we've been taught for years. I mean, since the 1980s, we've been told that we should work on our business. And I'll tell you a secret, Harry. People don't want to be worked on. They want to be worked with. And so
100%. 100%. Eden, like the this top to bottom, I always describe it like this to organizations, so maybe they can have an idea. This is how, in my view, how it is. Imagine that you have that you are in the sea and you have to turn right. So what happened with the top to bottom organization is that this is like a Titanic. This is a big boat. When you said, okay, let's turn right, then imagine it takes time to turn right this big giant boat because it's like a Titanic, it's huge. However, when people are working with exactly you described, now you're not talking about a big Titanic. You're talking about 3,000-liter boats where they have their own little captain on top, and then there is a little boat at the top, which is at the in the front, which is the top, the little boat of the CEO. But guess what happened when the first boat said turn right? All the
right.
3,000 boats turn right very quickly. So they have the ability to respond to change faster than the big top to bottom Titanic. And so what we are discussing here, this is no a theory, is is to solve one of the biggest challenges that business have out there, and we all have, which is the speed of response to change. Because if you cannot respond to change faster, some big corporations, you see, Blockbuster, you name it, they just go out of business because the speed of responding to change, it was they were so big, the organization in a top to bottom formation, that when we had to produce a response to change, it's really slow, and all of a sudden the company collapsed and nobody even knows what happened. So, what do you think, Eden? Uh, but still, you see companies, corporation, big organization that still they are in this top to bottom formation, and so what can you share with these big companies that still they have a lot of legacy in terms of the employees, the CEO, the people in the organization, that they're already used to this structure, and again they don't want to change, and they sometimes they're not even aware that that could be a big problem for the business, regardless that the business have been out there. Because what happens sometimes, business out there for so many years, the brand is out there, and it looks really powerful. However, some changes needs to be done in order to live, to be more flexible and to respond to change fast. So what message do you have for the big corporation out there where they have a strong legacy and they find it difficult to talk to articulate what we're trying to do here, which is inspire leadership within the organization and turn the organization not top to bottom, but we are working with you. We don't working for you, we're working with you.
Mhm. Well, that's a really great question. What I would encourage the leadership of those large organizations to do is to really work within the teams, right? There, so even in a very large organization, not everybody's on, like we have divisions, we have departments, we have different areas of responsibility. And so each of those areas of responsibility, that work group can have its own vision of what its goals are and objectives are and its own culture within that team. So you can build a series of those small boats that have the ability to pivot within the construct or the framework of that very large organization, and where there's alignment to top priorities. If the corporate goal is 10% growth, then every team in that company can identify what its greatest contribution can be towards that growth, or towards controlling costs, or towards, making things more flexible in terms of operations, streamlining something. Whatever that team's focus is, they can be, when they get in alignment with that bigger vision and have the authority within their team to contribute, then you're bringing that energy of flexibility throughout that organization. And I think also, there is a very systematic process for building in good idea generation, so that we're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall to figure out what right action would be, but to really build in creative discourse and challenge around ideas. So if somebody has an idea and says, I know what our department can do for this year to support the overall vision, we want to be able to test that and have a very established system for testing that. Let's poke holes in it. Let's see if we can, do the pros and cons. Let's make sure we're not investing huge amounts of money in making that change before we've really vetted it to make sure that it's a right process. So you want to build in thoughtful growth strategies and train the team to that, and then the changes that are made incrementally will actually contribute to the bottom line.
Okay, and mental health, because I remember my body actually took a hit in this process that I described to you. Yet the first 2 years, when I was doing everything by myself, have a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. I was angry every time, and I'm eating a lot. You see, I become overweight because of this state of mind. However, even when I remember when my employees told me, "Okay, you go home. We don't need you anymore," all these negative emotions that um, that I had to face building the business in the first 2 years, it was painful because you see at the beginning nobody knows you, so the client want to pay you very little because they don't nobody knows you, and then the supplier want to take advantage of you and asking you a lot of money, and then that process of growing and wearing all the hats and all these negative emotion and frustration, if that is still in your mind and you don't find a way to to get rid of this. For me, for example, walking is helped me a lot to discharge. So because if these negative emotions are there, can become a physical pain. People can end up with a heart attack. People can end up with overweight. People can end up with, because this emotional pain can become a physical pain. So when Eden, you realize that you have to work on yourself because you own four businesses, you have grandchildren, you have family, you need family time. So when do you realize that this is not only become a very good business operator, I also need to take care of my mental health because let's face it, we deal with 10 times with more pressure than everyone out there. Um, because we take more risks and we're responsible for everybody. We're responsible for the people that do the job. We are responsible even sometimes our employees are the only one that can bring the food to a table of their own family. So we are responsible for so many things. So the level of pressure that we need to handle is higher. So when do you find out that um, you also have to work on yourself to be happy, to be positive, to be so calm? I find you very calm, very steady. um, so how you realize that this also a part that you didn't know, that you have to look after your mental health in order to run successfully for business, which I can find it actually very impressive because I know what it takes to do that. I've been there.
Yeah, I think well, it's funny that you mentioned gaining weight. For me, I do that too. Anytime that I'm not doing what I'm working at my best or my optimum, I will start to gain weight as well. It's just one of those the my body gives me the feedback like something's not right here. You're
Hmm.
gaining weight. So reading the signs and paying attention, like you said, your health is one of the things that starts to go, or your family being in that place of, we miss you. And, it's the old joke, right? That an entrepreneur is the person who would quit a 40-hour a week job so they could work 80 or 100, right? But we have that drive to be independent, to have that autonomy. I understand completely taking on that internal responsibility of, we got to make payroll and make sure that people are taken care of. But we have to, it's like being on an airplane where they say if the oxygen mask comes down, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help anybody else. At the end of the day, I cannot be of service to my employees, my customers, my business, or my family if I'm not taken care of. And so I'm responsible for building my business in such a way that I can be healthy and relaxed and contribute meaningfully to the team. For me, I don't know if there was like a particular moment when I realized that, but just an observation, my husband would get tired of me complaining, and being exhausted and complaining at the end of the day. Like I have to find some solution so that I can bring a joyful person to my marriage, to my grandchildren, to my family. And we get to do that. When we do that, the trick is that or the irony, I guess, is that when we do that and take care of ourselves better, our team actually is happier because we've built a better system. When we are in that growth phase where everybody's coming to us and you have however many people, rather than coming to each other to ask the right questions and get the answers they need and supporting each other and working as a true team, when we're the center of all of that, we're exhausted and other people are frustrated because we become the bottleneck.
Hmm.
So I think the motivation for me is it's kind of funny. It's like I have to take care of myself, not so I can take care of myself, but I have to take care of myself in order to fulfill my purpose, which is to be successful with my business and with my team and with my clients. So it's just a matter
And
of
with your
necessity
family, and with your family as well.
with your family. Absolutely.
And it's extremely challenging, yeah, because at the beginning, I don't know, in my family, I was the first entrepreneur. I mean, my granddad was an entrepreneur, but he died very young, and so my parents are teachers, so they always told me go to university and you're gonna be fine. So I went to university, got a degree in chemical engineer. I never used it in my whole life, but they made them very happy though. So at the end of the day, and then I have this environment that at the beginning when you start in the business, um, they are. It's they don't understand the pressure that you're going through. They don't understand. They're trying to help you, yeah, I don't know. My mom, every time that I tell her I'm gonna expand the business, she said, "Don't expand. No expansion. It's okay." That's my mom. Yeah. Why do you want to expand? She doesn't know even what business I want to expand. She only listen the word expand, and she's like, "No, no, 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 no more expansion. It's okay like this." You know what I mean? And then, uh, they and when I started my first business, also what happened is that when I went out with my friends, everybody's talking about everything, and then I'm talking about my business, and I realize nobody cares. They don't
Right?
care. So I'm like, oh my God, this is
It's
gonna be
so
more complex than what I thought. I need to find new friends. I very little I can speak with my dads about my parents about what's going on because I don't think that they are aware of my challenges. So because the whole thing become a little bit lonely at the beginning. That's also I was tired and frustrated. So I'm wearing off the hat, and then my family look at him right and find a job. Look what he's doing. You see, and
mhm.
it's a lot of pressure and all these it creates stress. It creates anxiety. So of course you make try to make this work and yes, the business, don't get me wrong, back then was making money. My problem was not money, it was making money. My problem was that I have a stress, I have anxiety, that because I'm wearing all the hats, I wake up in the morning, don't eat anything, work, 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 do everything that the business required. When I find out it was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, all then go to a restaurant, the restaurant already know which number. It was a Chinese and an Indian restaurant. They already know the number on the menu. If last day was 36, they know that if I call again it's 37. So I was not paying attention. What I was eating was literally next to the number in the menus. I didn't have energy to tell them what I want to eat. So they record the number. And but my body took a hit. I become overweight and my mental health. You see, I was angry. I was tired. Yeah, the business is working. Money is going there, but I'm exhausted. So I had to change and go to a journey of clearing my mental health and exactly start to look after me because that's the other thing. What you said, you need to look after yourself so you can look after others. But in this dynamics, you don't realize one guy came to this podcast. He has three businesses, was turning over 1 million in each of them, and the guy was vomiting blood. And he told
Oh,
me, Harry, I decided that I run this business. This business not running me. And he took a plane. He went to Thailand for a year. Guess what? His business is still around. He's okay. And but if we don't look after ourselves, uh, then I think nobody else is gonna do it. I mean, you have support from family, from husband. Like you said, for example, maybe you have challenges with your husband that he's not happy. Well, of course, he doesn't care that you have X amount of employees and you have to deal with a lot of pressure and you have to pay salary for everyone. He doesn't care about any of this. He's your husband and he needs time and attention, and you do have to provide that. And it's what happened with my mom, with my dad. I had to fly, I had to spend time, I had to sit with them, I had to listen to talk what I want to tell me, consume a lot of time, but I had to make that time for them. And it's challenging, but it's what it is, right?
absolutely. And I think you hit on a couple of key points, right? That people who are not entrepreneurs or don't have that drive in their it's just a fire in the belly. It's a thing that, I've had to have those difficult conversations with my family. I know this is a really good job with good benefits that feels safe, but I got to step out on my own and do this other thing. It's
Oh my God.
I'm driven to do that. And
And they're telling
uh
you, are you crazy?
and well,
Talking
and
behind your
that's the
back.
exactly, the societal, it's like this is good enough. That's security. Focus on security, focus on safety, focus on, but it's not, that's not who I am. And So you said, I need new friends, and that's really true, right? I think it's very important that we build relationships with other business owners who understand and who we can learn from and who we can also mentor and pass along. So building being a part of a community is a mastermind or a business community, or having that short list of contacts or a coach, the people that you can talk to who do understand, so that our families can be relieved of that responsibility, because they don't, a lot of times, don't get it anyways. It's like, yeah, go, honey, but like, I don't even know what you're talking about, right? And we want to talk to people who get it, who get us, and who have been where we are, so that we can, as a community, continue to grow and continue to be that resource for our businesses. Yeah.
So like I shared with you, Eden, in this broadcast, the main purpose, the main value of this broadcast is we want all entrepreneurs to be out there, to be wealthy, healthy, and happy. And I know for a fact that this virtual GM that you provide, that you can help uh, people with, can make can change the life of the entrepreneurs. I know this for sure because this happened to me, and I know that it's possible. Only the people that can help you, you need to have two conditions. Number one, ideally, have to be done it themselves. That would be a plus. Yeah. And number two, because and number two, it become a good coach and good mentor. And I think that sometimes people are so busy working in the business that they don't realize that if they step outside, they can work on the business. Just a small changes can create a massive results, but they only can be seen if you're working on the business, not in the business. And having a virtual GM is amazing because if you have a virtual general manager, this thing will manage the whole operations. The operation becomes smooth because you're busy because you're running the operation. If you can make all the operations smooth, then you can get out and see the business from the top, which is amazing. Yeah. When you're playing chess, sometimes you see a couple of friends playing chess, and you see from outside, you see a
Hmm.
lot of good move, because from outside very easy to see the good move. When you are inside the game is when it becomes challenge. So Eden, how people can find you, how the process work, can you describe a little bit more about and how can you help them to the organization to have this virtual general manager that will improve operation and make the whole process smooth and free time for the entrepreneur, which is they can have time to work on the mental health, they have time to work on their head in the relation with the family and friends, parallel as they're running the business.
Thank you so much for the question. There's several ways that people can engage with me. The easiest and fastest way to connect is to go to the website freebusinessbook.com and download my book. My book is, you and I have the same mission. My mission is to help support business owners in living a life that they want, running a business that they love. And so the book is available. It's my gift to the listeners on this podcast, freebusinessbook.com. And so from there, there's also links to connect with me for coaching or to discover. I often will do done for you services, like a quick launch to help people get started on the steps of the matrix and really take a look at, bring in that 30,000 foot view and identify what are the first pieces that can be moved quickly to make the most impactful change. So love to work with people directly and love to get my information out into the hands of anyone who wants to read it. So freebusinessbook.com is the best place to start and easy to remember.
Thank you so much, Eden. You made my day today. I think you're brilliant. Yeah. And you can help a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, because I know the pain. I've been in both sides, and this, this can change literally the life of the entrepreneur from the day and the night. The difference is so huge when you are operating in the business and you taking care of the operation, and you have to be inside there and making sure that everything is okay, and you need to wear all the hats, and it's very intense. And completely the other view is when the operation runs smooth and you have time to make the right decisions into the business, and at the same time you have time to spend with family, friends, people that you love, which will contribute to your health, what you eat. I'm paying a lot of attention what I eat now. Yeah, try to make my own food, something that I was never thought that was possible in my life because I was always in a hurry. So now I even have time to prepare my own food.
Much
So,
better than just number 36 or 37 on the
oh
menu.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I learned this the hard way. I've been detoxing my body for years. Imagine how bad it was, you see. But at the end of the day, and we have to keep working on ourselves as well, even to be an example and a role model for others also. So at the end of the day, thank you so much. I really
Oh, it's been my
appreciate.
privilege.
I
Yeah,
know that
so
you
happy
can
to talk
help,
with you.
that you helping a lot of people, and I know you will help a lot of people. I can see you have very good energy. Yeah, and send the big regards to your husband or your family. Tell them I know the pain. You see, in my life become, Lily, my girlfriend. She was my employee.
Oh,
She
my.
was my general manager. She was my GM, and finally now she's an entrepreneur. So at the end of the day, she has her own business. She own a book publishing company and so on. So she ended up being an entrepreneur as well because she said, "Well, if he think that I need to," and she's actually enjoying it a lot, to be honest. Yeah, making her own decisions and manage their employees and so on. She has her own podcast as well. So it's amazing how things have been evolved with the relationship, the people that you have around you. But at the end of the day, yes, and send my regards to him as well, because at the end of the day, we do need the support. Our family members, they don't know how much we need that support. That after a stressful day, it's very important for us to function as well. And so it's a teamwork. The first team member are your family, you see. So thank you so much, and for
Thank you
all
so
of
much.
you. And for all of you following this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Eden break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.